All board members are present except for Sherry. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we have a special presentation for Woodrow Glazier. He is, you're a senior this year? And he's been the state champ in trap shooting the past 2 years, I believe. Is that correct? Dad can correct me if I'm wrong. And the national champ this year.
Come on up, Woodrow. And I should mention this too. We had him on Soup Talk about 2 weeks ago.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. So we did a little interview with him again. So he's getting to be sort of a veteran when it comes to, this is the second time here, second time on Soup Talk. But what he's accomplished, our team took second in the state this past year. As you remember, a couple years ago, first time ever, the high school league sponsored trap shooting, or we keep talking, I mean, we talked about this in the interview, the difference between, there is no difference between trap shooting and clay target, it's just terminology, but that's what the high school league calls it. But, so we won it at state title your sophomore year or freshman? I'm forgetting now.
State title as a team was summer after freshman year.
Yep.
So coming
Okay,
in
yep.
sophomore year.
Yep. And so, and then he's won the state, like you said, a couple times, and national champion this summer. And I asked him to come here tonight and just talk about his experience, both at state and then the nationals. So the floor is yours, Woodrow, and then we'll open it for any questions.
Experiences at the state shoot, both years were very good. First year we didn't have a team representation. We had a lot of changes going on in the team during that time. A lot of really good seniors had graduated. So our team really wasn't where it was, but this year our team was very good. We went to state and we took second among a lot of really good schools who have been really dominant and really known for being team specialized. And then with nationals, same story. Team went there. It was a group of guys that we just sort of put together, and we still did really, really good. We just scraped together 5 people, and we hit the road. And I'd have to say, for how prepared we were and how the other teams were compared to us, we did very well.
And then and let's go back to the state. Now, the state, just so everyone knows, they shoot 4 rounds of 25, so 100 shots, right, at clay targets. And Woodrow, 100 out of 100, right, which he actually tied for first. They don't do a shoot-off, right? But at the Nationals, there was a tie, and they have a shoot-off. You want to explain that, how that works?
Yeah, so the qualifying rounds and nationals, we all shot 100 targets, those of whom had, I believe, like 94s and above advanced. And then there was another set of hundreds, and then there were 3 of us with 200s. And we shot off, and I ended up winning.
Yeah. So going back, though, in the competition, are you saying you made 200 of the 200 shots? Yes. So all I remember is after the state, we took second state, and he won it. I ran into one of the participants, Riley Killian, your teammate, right? And I said, I just can't believe how good you guys are, and especially Woodrow. I said, how does he do it? He goes, and Riley's had a good year too, but
Yes.
he goes, Woodrow is amazing. He goes, it's just crazy. He doesn't miss. He's just amazing. So going into you're in your senior year. Why don't you talk about what you're thinking at school? He's a very good student and looking at colleges right now, right?
I'm looking at the U of M as maybe a big university to go to, and there's a lot of smaller schools that are roughly the size of New Prague with a small town setting around the Midwest area that I'm looking at.
Okay. And then favorite classes right now? Would you know talk about some of your classes you're talking to me about chemistry and
Yeah, favorite class. Right now, like favorite challenging, really academic-driven class would have to be college chemistry. It's a 2-hour class, and there's a lot of time to learn, and I really like that.
it's an AP class, right? Or is it no, college in the schools? It's
Credit.
college in the schools. I think that's one through Southwest State.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you get college credit. So, what do you think right now for the team this next year?
I think we're going to do pretty good. A lot of kids my age in my class have really been moving up very fast in the past couple of seasons, and I think this is going to be the season where we put it all together.
Okay,
What was your team made up of last year, between seniors and juniors? And
The
the
team,
state one?
yeah, the state one was all seniors and me, a junior, and the same story at nationals.
but
How do you develop this type of skill? Do you start 7th, 6th grade at home, or is it just something you took up when you were in high school?
I do a lot of duck hunting,
Okay.
and I did a lot of that with my dad, and that sort of translated into hand-thrown clays in the backyard, and that was pretty fun. And I think my friend Sam Stika, we both lived in around the Egan area when I was younger, and we both happened to move out to New Prague, so he offered if I wanted to join the trap team, so I took the offer simply because we were so coincidentally placed.
Will you continue it in college?
I hope so. There are a lot of schools who I'm really looking into and interested in because of the financial aid opportunities that they have because of the shotgun sports.
So how many years would you say you've been doing this? I mean, like, how old were you when you started?
I'd say I was around 10 or 11 once I started shooting shotguns. Competitively, shooting clay targets would have to be 4 or 5 years.
And weren't you like 7th or 8th grade with Coach Dietz when it was a club sport you started up? And what were you making out of 25 back then?
I think my first season I did hit my first 25 straight,
Oh, did you?
but I think I averaged low 20s
Okay, all right.
average, yeah.
Just curious. All
You
right,
still
well,
have time.
you know, clay target is the fastest growing sport activity in our state, and then also it's going nationwide too now. So it's a really neat thing. We get a lot of kids that may not be in other sports that are in this activity, and we've built quite the powerhouse here in New Prague, and like Woodrow says, we're looking for another great season. So who knows? We might have you back a third time. So
You'll
with
be
that.
in college next year, though.
Yeah, why don't you come around on the inside here and shake everyone's hand, and we want to congratulate you and wish you the best. Oh, you forgot the trophy.
Oh.
Good job, buddy. Good.
That's a nice trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have a trophy case at home built for him? 3.
3.
A whole room. You'll have a trophy room soon then.
Here, what do you give Tim?
And thank your mom and dad for, I'm sure, all the hours of time they put into it, so he could do this.
Oh, the state?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They just gave us extra.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. We'll
You
hang
have
that
to
up in the
take
office.
his picture to put in the,
Yep.
Be good.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
okay, on with
right.
the meeting.
Okay. That's it. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Madam Chairman, and I propose that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
One comment, Mark Solar is finished with school this year after 30 years.
It was a custodian? He was a custodian?
Solar? He was-
Oh, grounds.
Groundskeeper, yeah.
Yeah, the last 5 years, it's been dedicated, I think, solely for buildings, for grounds on the outside, mainly.
Okay, all in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Board committee reports. Policy? Southwest Metro?
We had our Southwest Metro meeting last Tuesday, and the school system is off to a good start. All the positions basically are filled for all the programs, and we have a good number of students in all the programs too, so we're off to a good start at Southwest Metro.
CPAC?
We haven't had a meeting yet this school year yet.
Community Ed?
Community Ed. First of all, Community Ed was well represented at the Zinke celebration. The early learning had a float in the parade filled with staff and children. They handed out 2,000 NP tattoos. The variety show sponsored by Community Ed and the Arts Council were well attended, about 540 viewers to see 12 amazing acts. Community Ed was also at the K-Check Expo on Wednesday afternoon. Early childhood now has 380 children enrolled in 20 different sections. RAP in New Prague has 104 children enrolled, and at Eagleview 64. Kids Company is hiring more staff so they can allow for more kids. The most popular classes for the youth is pattern football, flag football, and driver's education in the classroom. For the adults, the most popular classes, first of all, there's trips to the church basement ladies at the Ames Theater, and 2 dates have been filled, and the third one is being set up.
Wow.
Making kolaches is very popular. AARP Smart Drive classes, college planning tips, midterm elections, issues and candidates, canvas and cocktails, and then pilots in Elko, New Market. I looked at a couple more things. First of all, thank you to all the people in the community in the area, and especially the school, for the help with the amateur town ball baseball tournament. It couldn't have gone off without the volunteers, and it was fantastic. And another thing, congratulations to the 5 Hall of Famers that we inducted Friday night into the High School Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Wellness?
Next week.
Early childhood?
Next month.
All right, superintendent.
Next year. All right. Well, I just want to take off what Don said. Don was right. I mean, congratulations to the 5 Hall of Fame. It was a really special evening. We had a program at 5. We had a social at 5, and 5:30 was the program, and it was great to hear all 5 talk. They were very grateful to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. They got introduced at halftime. It was a wonderful night. Julie Schmitz and Tony Boothie coordinated the whole thing, and yeah, we're just very proud of that, and it's only going to get better. We're revitalizing that. Hall of Fame has been going on for 20 years now. There's an athletic one, and then we have distinguished service and alumni, distinguished alumni and we do that at the honors banquet in the spring. And so, yeah, and you know, we've had Sports for Girls sponsored by the high school league since 1975, I believe, or 76. So 43 years, 42 years, and then we've had high school sports for boys over 100 years if you go back to football. And right now we've got 25 student athletes have been inducted to the Hall of Fame right now. So there's many other worthy candidates. So we're trying to get the publicity out and get nominations in both the athletics, distinguished service, and alumni, and so we can make that better and better every single year. Some other things I want to make sure I mention here. We're going to have Education Minnesota and the Chamber of Commerce are going to do a school board candidate forum, election forum. So that will be on Tuesday, October 16th at 7 o'clock. And obviously we've got 6 candidates running for school board for 3 spots. And we've already been getting contacted about getting information out. I mean, people are very curious. They want to know who, especially when, you know, a lot of people, we get emails, you know, want to vote early. And so we got to get that information out. So
Is that, in the past when they do the questions, does that go out from the school district, or I think it went out from
No,
the?
it's from the New Prague Time.
Sometimes there's a forum, sometimes there hasn't been, but.
Yeah, there hasn't been.
We do our own thing, so.
Yeah,
This one, though, is sponsored by Education Minnesota and the Chamber of Commerce.
okay.
And then I'm sure you'll do a questionnaire article in the paper, too.
Tomorrow or Wednesday, so.
Oh, you are already? Okay, good.
Theirs will be going out.
Good, because we got, you know, people vote early nowadays, and,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a little bit different than it used to be.
Earlier than we have been in the past, just for that reason.
Okay,
We used to do it
okay. That makes sense. That's good. That's good. The other thing, we got homecoming this week, so we had the Powder Puff football game last night that I completely forgot about.
it was good.
Was it good? Okay. I heard it wasn't close,
Close, no.
but who cares? It was good. I didn't
I had
get.
both a junior and a senior, so I could clap for everything, so.
Well,
So
I
it's
didn't
good.
get any phone calls today, so it must have gone really well. But we got homecoming with the coronation parade on Friday, so it's going to be a fun-filled week. And then one thing I want to mention too is in the next week we'll be with the help of Sean Brandt. He's sort of taking the lead on this, but we're going to be taking a look at school calendars. We'll be sending a survey out where we have early start, end early, late start, and both of them with spring breaks, without spring breaks. So it's 4 different calendars, and we'll get input from staff, obviously, and then the parents and everyone. And depending how the survey comes out, we possibly, again, might, if it falls in favor of going with an early start again and a May ending, we're looking at doing a flexible learning waiver that Sean Brandt is going to be working on. It's quite
Are
the
they
process.
pretty good with approving those, or?
They have been, but I don't like their timeline as well. They're a little bit slower than we're used to. So we got to get a little few. Sean's really working hard at this, and he's been meeting with other school districts about that do it. There's a couple districts in southwestern Minnesota and west central Minnesota that do that. See, the big districts don't have to because
Right.
they all have a construction project over 400,000. So like city of Minneapolis always starts early, or Minneapolis School District starts early, but I mean, it's because they can have a construction project. So this is under the flexible learning waiver. So we have to have rationale, and we have to have 3 open meetings. So we'll have meetings that probably in here in Eagleview and maybe 2 here. We haven't decided that, but you'll hear all about this at the work session in October and be able to ask questions. And I thought we'd first get the survey out, and then so you can see that, and then we can proceed. Okay? You know what? That's it.
Really?
Really.
All right. Next, we have the joint powers agreement to approve.
Yeah, and Sandy's going to go over that. You know, of course, Jerry's on the Joint Powers Board, and we've had to make some changes, obviously, with now the fitness center coming on board with the aquatic center. So Sandy's going to talk about that, and we're going to ask for action on that this evening.
Yeah, so you have the draft, I think, that you've reviewed. Hopefully you got the strike-through version so you could see what was changing. But the most significant change, I mean, there's lots of wording change, just incorporating the fitness center piece. The most significant wording change will be the $90,000 the city is going to be contributing to the construction costs for the remodeling we need to do here. And that'll be paid in 7 equal annual payments to the district. So we'll carry a receivable from the city for 7 years for that. A couple of other minor wording changes, just talking about, you know, staffing and positions and what the joint powers approves and what they don't approve. Some budget stuff, but pretty minor changes overall, except adding the fitness center.
And this has already been approved by the city?
Yes,
Yep,
they
I'm-
approved
yeah, I'm
last
sorry, I should have said that. The city council approved it last week.
I'll make a motion to approve the joint powers agreement.
I'll second.
I'd
Any
like to
further
make-
questions?
If I could make a comment, I voted against this before, in effect, because of the uneasiness a lot of people have expressed, thinking that the money that was voted for construction would go into something to do with students learning and education. And I didn't see those words on the red ink. I think that this is one of those things when you have 3 sets of interest involved here, and we're the ones where the building and everything's going, that given a year from now, you'll probably be changing this several times over, and next year it won't even look like what it is. I've gotten several teachers and persons with different complaints, and the response has always been, we don't have enough money for it. Senior high needs another science room because the kids have to, from one room, have to wash their hands in another room and disrupt the class, and there aren't enough laptops in the junior high, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm still gonna vote no, because of the uneasiness and because of the response of the people.
Yeah, this really shouldn't affect the type of stuff you're talking about, because money's coming from the city, and we've got some stuff from the rebates from the school to help pay for this, and we're getting donations from the fitness center, so it really shouldn't affect the school or in the classroom at all, I don't think, so.
Certainly hope
Yeah,
not.
there isn't any education dollars being used
Right.
for this, any general fund.
And I would say any requests, so you're talking about a science room or laptops, has never come to my level that I know about. I will say this, you gotta remember, the one reason we're doing this is financially, because we can't keep going on with just an aquatic center. We're finding that out, learned the hard way there. But having a fitness center will be able to attract more memberships, and we're gonna be a lot healthier. If you wanna hurt kids financially, if this, you know, if we continue just with the aquatic center, you know, the whole general fund, when it comes down to it, will take more away from our buildings. So we need to make this change. We can't keep doing the same thing we've been doing. And I think this is a positive thing.
I hope that works out also, but for 13 years, I have not played God when it comes to things. I know there's a couple on the board here that think it's their only God-given right to make decisions, but I've gone with what people have said, and at this time I would have to vote no, because there were quite a few that said they had some issues with it.
Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-1. 2019 preliminary levy.
Yes, tonight is just the first look at the levy. As you know, it can change from here on out because MDE, I'm still going back and forth with them on a couple little things. But I would ask that you approve it at maximum tonight, and we do that because of the numbers change. So the statute gives us the opportunity to approve at maximum. That way, if it goes up a little, goes down a little bit, we can have some flexibility to make those changes. Right now, the overall levy is very flat. As a matter of fact, it's going down just slightly from the prior levy. The main changes I want to talk to you about is one, our adjusted net tax capacity went up 8.6%. Statewide, that only went up a little over 5%, so our property values are growing faster than they are at the state level, which means we get a little bit less equalization aid. I've talked to you about that before, because it goes by how much your net tax capacity per resident student. And if that changes from year to year, then the levy and aid mix changes as well. So in general, our aid has increased, or decreased, and our levy has increased, just in general. So that is one change. Second, you'll notice a new line on our levy this year, and that's the OPEB. And this is something we are able to levy for because all of our severance, and we don't have any retiree health, but everything has been sunsetted in our contract, so it allows us to levy for post-employment benefits. Basically, the only post-employment benefits we have is something called the implicit rate subsidy. And the implicit rate subsidy, as a school district, as a public entity, we are required to keep retirees on our health plan. They have to pay the premiums, but we are required by law to keep them in our health plan if they wish to stay in the health plan. And older people have a tendency to have higher healthcare costs, higher claims. So we work with an actuary, Hildy and Associates, and actually now that this year we are fully self-insured, we're able to actually calculate what kind of claims did our retirees have versus their premiums that they paid. And that was for 17-18, and we're able to say that it cost the district $67,000. And so we're able to levy for that. So that is a new levy this year that we're able to take advantage of. The other is the economic development abatement. That is, last year was the last year of that because we terminated that agreement with CHART. So no more economic development abatement. And then the third thing is the abatement line increased 2.5 times, and that's, I was talking to some other people at the levy workshop I was at in Scott County, and abatements have increased quite a bit. And so then the MDE gives us the ability to levy because we lose that when people abate their taxes. I also started to track our prior year adjustments so we can keep a better track of our various levies and how they change from year to year. Last year we had several really high adjustments. I think I've talked about those before. One actually was for LTFM, and now this year they're doing a huge negative. I challenged it last year, and they said, no, everything looks right, and I didn't know. Anyway, sometimes it's difficult, and it's a new program. They don't have it in a database yet. They have it in spreadsheets. So they did a very large positive adjustment last year, but they're taking it all back and then some. So I was right about that, but you know, that's just the way it goes. And then Fund 4 is going up just slightly. We've got a larger positive adjustment for school-age childcare. That is when we have to hire extra staff for students with special needs and disabilities in our Kids Company program and our RAP programs. That you can see that levy, this disabled school care, has gone up considerably in the last couple of years as that population has really challenged our staff in the Kids Company and RAP programs. And then our debt service levy varies a little bit each year with our debt service schedule, and but that is increasing slightly. But overall, the levy is very flat to slightly lower. And I'll have tax impact and things like that at the Truth and Taxation hearing that we hold in December. And again, we'll finalize it by then. Any questions?
Sandy, for the disabled school care, does that go toward hiring like paras to work with the children?
Yep, special paras. Just ask that you approve it at maximum tonight.
I'll make a motion, we approve the preliminary levy certification for 2019.
Second.
Second?
At maximum.
At maximum, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Calendar change.
Yes. Made a slight mistake on the calendar.
Who got the award for finding it?
Well, our new high school principal found it right away. No, actually, we had a couple teachers that I think school had started, but maybe, I can't even remember, but it was right away. But basically, we have an imbalance in days. Just the way the calendar came out, it was like 93 days and 82 days. So obviously, that's not a good thing. So we want to move back the semester ending date to January 11th. We'll still have grades due, report card grades due on the same date, so the teachers will still have a half day. So that'll be on January 18th, but we'll just be ending a week earlier than we had. And I think, yeah, doing that will, well, it does. It makes it very close to being the same. So.
Questions? I'll make
I
a
have
mo-
question. You send out something about people voting on next year's calendar, starting date and all that.
Mhm.
Are we still able to claim that we can start before Labor Day?
No, because we don't have believe it or not, we don't have a construction project. This is our 4th year of doing it, because we've had construction, but Sandy and Craig can't find anything. Oh, there is, yes, that's true. Excuse me, that's the 28th, September 28th. They do announce, we applied, we did those security grants. I mean, there's a chance, right?
But the number of people or
Well-
amount that was applied for.
25 million is allocated, and they had over 250 million in grant applications. So you never know. You never know. But if we do qualify for that, we could just go with that. But I still want to do the survey to see where people are at. And if we can't get the construction part on that, then if people keep favoring, and I've had nothing, I mean, but 98% positive feedback on the early start ending in May from teachers and staff and parents. I'd be surprised if on the survey it doesn't continue that way. So that's why we'd go the flexible learning. But if it wasn't for the grants, there is no more construction. So I'm happy with that too.
Yeah.
So
Craig's probably happier.
yeah, no, Craig is a lot happier than I am, but
I'll make a motion, we approve the 2018-19 calendar change.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Resolution to accept a gift from the soccer club.
yep, this is for, they've helped us with the Eagle View Field for soccer. So they've been great. We've met with Brett Wagner, and we're continuing to meet too to look at make more improvements to Eagle View and just helping them out with the soccer fields, especially what they use in the spring and summer. So it's 50-50 on the cost of that. So that's what they're donating that half of that amount, the cost that we had done.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to consider the resolution to accept the gift from the New Prague Soccer Club.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution to accept the gift from the New Prague Soccer Club.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
The resolution reads as follows. Whereas the school board may accept the gift valued at $1,000 or more only by adoption of a resolution by 2/3 of its members. Whereas the New Prague Soccer Club wishes to donate by check valued at $2,685 under the following condition, that 50% of that amount will go to the 2017-18 Eagle View Field improvements. How do you vote on this?
Yes.
On this?
Yes.
Kim, Kitten,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Dennis, yes, item passes.
Finally, we have the superintendent goals for
The moment you've been waiting for.
2018-19.
All right, Janelle's going to put the PowerPoint up here. And so So superintendent goals for this year, there's 5 main goals, and they're somewhat similar to goals I've had in the past, except for there's nothing on construction this time. First one, goal number 1, is to demonstrate growth academically. When we look at the MCAs and the ACT for high school, show evidence of improvement, also with our graduation rate and daily attendance. So it's pretty much everything that's on our report card that's reported to the state, with the addition of the ACT score too. So that is goal number 1, and obviously the strategies to accomplish that too is, we just keep advancing our vision, mission, values, and goals, emphasizing that, making sure our decisions are in alignment with that. Professional development is a key, especially with our professional learning communities, and then making sure each of the buildings have goals and action plans based upon results. The second goal, to develop and implement a successful transition, and we're getting near the end of that here to the newly formed Fitness and Aquatics Center. We got a transition team, representatives from the school district, the city, and Mayo that have been meeting regularly and working collaboratively so we can develop, a big part of it right now is just the marketing and communication. We need to get memberships, really need to promote it, and then obviously too, the financial piece is very important, and that's where we fell short with the aquatics center, and we need to do a better job with this. But I think we got the right people on board right now, and I'm very confident going ahead that we're going to have a successful transition. Goal 3, more in the social emotional piece, and we've invested a lot in that in the last couple of years, and it's very important. But be able to judge this or evaluate this just on the surveys we do annually with students and parents, that students will feel safe and valued within their school learning environment. We've got, just going back to the surveys, I mean, we do our annual one. We've got the state survey that will be done that we do every 3 years. And we have that one that Maren and Amy talked about, that 30-question one that we've also implemented too. So that we should be able to have some good data to be able to share at the end of the year. I feel good about Gospel Corda now being on board with us to provide leadership. Like he was at our recent meeting, he's meeting with staff and students and helping with the education and training. We're also looking to do a lot of professional development in these areas with our staff throughout the year, and then also with the students too, doing leadership training sessions with our captains and education for students at actually all levels. Goal 4, again, very important to have a good, positive working relationship, in the type of district we are. It's not just one town. It's, Elko, Newmarket, New Prague, and also Lonsdale. So just being very visible and involved at Chamber of Commerce and social functions, meeting regularly with each of the city's administrative staff, and just building trust by being visible, open, and honest. So that's just one of those that might be, I guess we don't have anything to really evaluate that on. It's a little bit more anecdotal or subjective, but it's something that is very important, I take very seriously. And finally, the 5th goal, our annual, we've done this will be the 6th year of doing the parent survey, and we just got a few areas left that are under 90%, but to continue to show improvement on that, and I think, our culture, if, lead by example, follow New Prague way, be able to motivate people, embrace accountability with everyone, that will continue to improve in those areas. So, and that one obviously is one that can be looked at and evaluated to see if it's accomplished every single year. So those are the 5 goals that I have before you, and I'll take any questions or comments at this time.
As far as the last year's review, I know the board just finished filling out their questionnaires this past week, as well as the admin, so we'll be going over the superintendent review, probably the October meeting. No surprises.
Otherwise, everything looks reasonable here from what I can tell. You want to approve on that?
No.
This-
No.
No, you don't need approval, okay.
He gets to make his own.
I approve the following presentation.
We just wish you good luck on meeting the goals.
Yes.
Well, my main goal right now, I didn't put in there about selling 15 dozen rotary wheels.
I'll get you one. Okay, that's it.
That's stressful.
Are we done? We done?
Motion to
Oh.
adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.